Okay, let's try this again. Hey, everyone, do a quick check for me. Try to engage with me in the chat. Let's see if we fixed my issue. You should be able to engage and just pop in there and say hi, give me an emoji, say hi in the chat, let me know we fixed it, and also just confirm if you can hear and see me all right. I promise I'm tech savvy. Can someone just pop in the chat real fast? Jeff is still disabled. Y'all, I swear. Here we go. Here we go. Wait, I think I can fix it again. Everyone try again. Oh, y'all, we're keeping it real here. You're going to learn. If you don't know me very well yet, hi, I'm Megan. We keep it real here. And thank you so much for being patient with me. Yay! Oh, so many familiar names here, so many new names. I'm so excited for today. Now that I've got Zoom working appropriately, I'm going to triple check everything else. We are recording. Everything else looks good. Thank you all so much. Okay. Let's close this. Okay. How's everyone doing? How are we feeling? Is everyone having a day? Okay. Let's go ahead and jump in because I did not mean to spend our first 8 minutes together doing some tech stuff. So officially, let me just welcome you to the free masterclass. We are going to be talking today all about how to make six figures from private coaching while working 15 hours a week. You're going to learn a simplified and sustainable approach to growing your coaching business so that we can all put our personal life first. That's what we're all here for, right? If we haven't met before, after that wonderful introduction already, I'm Megan. I help coaches grow a simple life first business. I'm a mom of two. I'm actually pregnant with baby 3 on the way. And I have been doing business since 2014, started as a virtual assistant. I've been everything from a VA to a graphic designer to an Etsy shop owner to a project manager. I've worked full time for other online entrepreneurs, and I have been business coaching since 2017. While I was doing my business coaching, I was totally in a workaholic mode, ended up burning out, and took a sabbatical from my business. When I was ready to come back, I knew it had to look different. I couldn't just fall back into old tendencies. And I was determined to come back and have a true life first business. And in less than a year, I made over six figures from private coaching while working 15 hours a week or less most weeks and keeping things super simple. And this isn't because I'm special. This is like actual choices and strategy choices that I'll be sharing with you that you can implement in your business too, so that you can have something very similar. So now that our chat is working, go ahead and tell me in the chat a little bit about you. You know, who are you? What's your name? Are you already coaching? If you are, or what kind of coaching you want to do, let us know what that looks like in the chat. And let's just get to know each other. This is going to be an interactive time. We're hanging out together. I want to get to know you, and I want you to get to know each other and get to really experience this cool community where we're all here for the same purpose. We're all here because we want a life first business. We're all here because we're tired of the Alex Hormozy, bro marketing, hustle till you die vibes. And if that is something you're into, that's cool too. But most everyone here is not in line with that. And I think it's really cool to be in community with people who are like, we're going to do it differently. We're going to do it our way. Okay, so Christy's a life and business coach for spiritual women. Nicole's an executive leadership coach. Not yet coaching, starting to explore. Marion, forever trying to get started. You're going to love what we're going to dig into today, because my goal is to help you actually get started. Shannon is a financial coach for six-figure coaches and service providers. Shannon just recently started offering one-on-one coaching. Lindsay is a PR agency owner. So cool. Everyone keep throwing those introductions in the chat. And as questions pop up for you during this, we will have a live Q&A at the end. I do want to make sure actual questions for the live Q&A get submitted in the Q&A area. So please, if you have questions you want me to answer at the end for our live Q&A, add them to the Q&A. Otherwise, they're going to get lost in the chat because it's just me here manning this chat. Okay, so as we're seeing, everyone's coming into this in kind of different places, right? So you might be coming into this and you're a new coach kind of with a small audience, right? You're not sure how to start. you're not sure what to focus on or how to find clients. You don't really want to be tied to social media 24/7. You don't know how to price or package your coaching services, and you have a limited time and just want to make sure you're actually spending it on the things that matter. I have worked with plenty of clients who are in this in this spot. One of our Rich Coach Club members actually said that she was slowly putzing along and not quite sure what she wanted her first one-on-one offer to be. And now she has a simple and clear direction and clarity. And I love that she mentioned everything's coming together in a really fun way. Or you might actually already have an audience. You may even have an established business, but you aren't offering one-on-one coaching yet. And you know you're leaving money on the table. You're not sure how to fit one-on-one coaching into your existing product suite. And you might be worried about overcommitting or not having the bandwidth to do everything. One of my friends that I've worked with many times, I helped her design the one-on-one package she added into her existing business. She's a seven-figure entrepreneur. She was hesitant to do one-on-one for a very long time. And now she works with clients one-on-one in a way that makes sense within her product suite. And she's obsessed with delivering, which is always like the best feeling. Or you might already be coaching, as some of you are, but you can just tell you're maxed out or close to maxing out, you're close to burning out. Ultimately, you want to make more money, but can't see how to do that without taking on more and more clients. You're not sure what shifts to make or how to make them so that you have more time freedom to actually do all the things you want to be doing. And you may actually struggle with people pleasing when it comes to your clients, or potentially like setting and holding boundaries. One of my prior clients implemented a one-on-one coaching offer. She's got other things going on in her business, but she was starting to feel kind of burned out from the work that she was doing, really wanting to put her life first. And she ended up implementing private coaching, brought in over 12K in about 8 weeks or so, which is amazing. And again, she's genuinely enjoying it. That's really what I want. One of my ethos for business in general is we should enjoy this. I'm not sitting here saying, everything's easy and we should only do what makes us happy and yada, yada. But I genuinely think if you're an entrepreneur and we have all of the power to do the things we want to do in the way we want to do it, let's make it enjoyable. Wherever you're at in your journey, you are here because you're ready to have a coaching business that doesn't take up all your time or stress you out. You want a business that feels simple to run on a day-to-day basis. You're not having to sit there and like figure out what to do. And ultimately, you just know what moves to make to hit your goals. You're ready to ditch the people pleasing, the perfectionism, the workaholic tendencies, and you want to build a business that actually gives you that fulfillment, freedom, and flexibility that we all want. So you're sitting there like, cool, sounds great. How do we do this? Well, buckle up because that's what we're going to dig into. I'm going to show you the simplest way to make 100K from one-on-one coaching while working 15 hours a week. We're going to do this in a couple ways. I am going to break down the Rich Coach framework, which is the super simple framework for how you do this, the things you focus on, the strategy, all that great stuff. We're also going to break down the 15-hour work schedule. So I'm literally going to show you how to spend those 15 hours and a couple of different ways that could look for you and customize based on your lifestyle. And just, we're going to dig into the nitty-gritty. I'm excited for that part. And then we're also going to do the math. We're going to actually do the math of 100K and talk about pricing, how many clients, and how you can actually make the 100K. At the end of the masterclass, I meant to put it here, we will have a live Q&A like I've mentioned, but you will also be invited to join Rich Coach Club, which is my 12-month program that will help you implement everything we are going to talk about today. So let's chat. What is your goal for your business right now? I think that this is always really helpful as we're coming together to talk strategy, to make changes, to take action, to kind of sink in and sink as a community of like, what are we working towards right now? Do you have a revenue goal you're working towards? Do you have some type of decision you're really struggling with right now? Is there a lifestyle goal? Is there like, what do you feel like when you sit down to work and you're thinking about your business? What is your goal right now? What is it you're working towards? Let me know in the chat, and that way we can see what everyone's working on. And this will also help me make sure I'm customizing some of this training to fit where everyone is and what everyone is working towards. Because while we are sitting here, we're going to talk about 100K in 15 hours, and I will actually be breaking those down specifically to those numbers. The fact is that you may have different numbers that mean something to you. Not everyone in Rich Coach Club is aiming for 100K or trying to do 15 hours. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. But I think it's really helpful to see where everyone is at right now, whether it's quantifiable like that money hours or something more holistic. Lindsay wants to amplify client success. Love that. Christy, let's see. You want to restructure to work less than 15 hours a week. Simona, if I say anyone's name wrong too, always feel free to correct me. You're creating life first systems and a firm foundation. Life first systems. What a good phrase. Okay, keep that coming. Is keep sharing your goals in the chat. Again, it's helpful for everyone to, okay, great, to see what everyone else is working towards, because sometimes it helps us feel more like normal and like, oh, I'm not the only one, which is really, really powerful. Okay. Let's dig into the Rich Coach framework. Like I said, this is a super simple framework for how we're actually going to do 6 figures, private coaching, the strategy, the fun stuff. This is what we're starting with. This is the foundation of the Rich Coach framework. We are hitting the ground running here. I'm going to dig into this and dig into all of these components. And like I said earlier, as we're going through this training, if any questions are popping up for you that you want me to answer at the end, be sure to drop that in the Q&A and keep the chat coming this whole time. Keep sharing aha moments or any commentary you have on anything we're talking about today. I am looking at it while we are doing this. The first part of the Rich Coach framework is to captivate. You probably are sitting here and thinking that having a niche will limit your ability to grow your business. You may think that you're too multi-passionate to have a niche or to narrow down how you help people. You may be like, I can do a lot of things. I can help people in a lot of ways. And sometimes this gift of many abilities can actually really lead to a lot of struggle with moving your business forward. You may think niching also means having a really specific demographic and a really specific result. And that's all you can talk about, all you can do. It can never evolve. And you feel really limited by that. If any of that resonates with you, the consequences of feeling that way, of operating that way, is that you are going to blend in to the noise. Your dream clients are going to come across a piece of content of yours and keep on scrolling because it just blends in to what everyone else is talking about. And I don't mean because it's not like a hot take. I mean just because it's vague. When you don't have that clear niche, it's vague. When we don't have a clear result, it's very high level and very surface level. This also makes it really hard to explain how you help people. If you've ever sat there and been like, I don't know how to explain what I do. I don't know how to do a little elevator pitch. It's because you are hesitant to zero in and narrow down your focus. It's going to make it also really difficult to create anything and to make any decisions because you're going to be constantly like trying to please everyone, right? And ultimately, this is going to slow down your growth because no one is going to really understand how you can help them. And the clients you're getting are probably coming to you either because they already have an established relationship with you, or you may be the cheapest option, which isn't going to help us grow in the long run, right? So what we actually want to be doing when we're talking about captivating, we want to decide who you help and the results you help them achieve. I find that, I say the word niche a lot because we all kind of know what that means, but it can be better for us mentally to not use the word niche and instead to think about results. What is the result you help your client achieve? Ultimately, what we want to do is have a clear I help statement. I help blah. And we wanted to really clearly say who you help and how you help them, the result they get. This really simple statement, when done well, is going to stop your dream clients in their track because immediately they're going to be like, oh, that's me. That's what I want. And as we refine your messaging over and over again, it's going to allow decision-making to get easier. It's going to allow every piece of content you create to get easier. Every offer you design is going to be easier for you to design because you understand who it's for, where they're at, what they're struggling with, and how you help them. And so I don't want you to think about niching as this thing that's limiting you. But instead, when you zero in and define who you help and the result you help them get, It's going to unlock so much more ease for you in your business, so much more clarity, so much more momentum, and it's really going to accelerate things for you. I was very much against niching many times in my business. I was like, I'm a personal brand, I'm multi-passionate, I can do a lot. But I have seen over the many years, it's like been 10 years in business now, when I have a clear understanding and can communicate my results that I help people achieve, it is so much easier. Business is easier, momentum builds faster. I get clients easier. And even though there's that fear of narrowing down, it actually ends up the opposite. I still work with people who do other things than what my niche is because they resonate with me, but they wouldn't have resonated with my messaging if I was being too vague and too surface level. And then something that I talk to my clients about a lot in Rich Coach Club, and that's coming in our new curriculum, is the idea that the niche statement doesn't have to be like so specific on both ends, but it can be like a seesaw where like you either need to be really specific on the result or really specific on who you're helping, but you don't have to be crazy specific on both. And so I hope that that can kind of reframe niching for you and understanding how to captivate people, because this I help statement, this clarity on the result you provide, this is how you're going to capture their attention. This is how you're going to captivate people who don't know you yet. So let's do a little self-reflection here. Rate in the chat, green, yellow, or red, just like good needs work, needs a lot of work, on how you feel when it comes to captivating people. Do you feel like you have a clear I help statement right now? Do you feel like your dream clients see you, a piece of content or whatever, come across you and are like, that's for me. They're the coach for me. I get it. So let's do, yeah, we've got red, yellow, red balloon from Brooke. Love that. Let's see, keep it coming. And I know sometimes it can be hard to be like red or yellow or whatever. Like, we're all here, real people. My bed's barely made. I had tech issues the first 10 minutes. Like, there's no shame or guilt. This is part of growing and improving your business. So take a minute and decide, do you feel like you're in a green, yellow, or red spot when it comes to captivating? And let us know in the chat. We're going to keep going. Part 2. So we've talked about how you got to captivate people. Part 2 is connect. So we've captivated our people, but now we need to connect. What you may think this looks like is posting, oh, I'm like getting anxious just even seeing this, posting daily on Instagram, posting 3 times a day on TikTok. You need to be posting 5 times a day on Pinterest. You should have a weekly newsletter, a weekly podcast, a weekly YouTube show, have blog posts that are super optimized for search engines. It's a lot. You may think every piece of content you create has to be perfect. You can't publish it if it's not perfect. And you think that if a piece of content doesn't have super high engagement or directly lead to a sale, then it was a flop. It was a bad piece of content. This is a lot of pressure. This is so stressful. This is overwhelming. And wherever you're at in your business journey, whether you're just starting or you're super established or anywhere in between, this whole conversation about how do I find my dream clients? How do I connect with them? How do I let them know I know my shit? Like, this is a conversation multi 7-figure entrepreneurs are still having, this dilemma of where to be showing up and to what extent. And people think you need to have this like super complex repurposing plan. And my goal is to simplify this for you, because the truth is that you don't need to be doing this. We'll talk about what you should do in just a sec. But like, can we relate? This is like anxiety inducing. So when we're there, we end up overthinking every piece of content and sometimes just never really publishing anything. We may burn out from trying to create too much content. You're like, okay, I'm in, I'm going to do the YouTube, I'm going to do the newsletter, I'm going to do this, boom, boom, boom. Burnout. And ultimately, you're not going to be booking those dream high ticket clients because you've burned out, because you aren't creating the content. You just don't give them a way to know, like, or trust you. If you aren't able to connect, if you aren't able to find a way through the overwhelm to come up with your simple solution, if you're not able to create that content, there's no opportunity for those dream clients who maybe you captivated, but are like, I want to know more. There's nowhere for them to go. How do they know about you, your story, your experience, your thoughts? your knowledge? How can they get value? Because ultimately, when we're connecting with our clients and our dream clients through our content or however we're showing up online, the goal is for them to know that you're the coach for them. We have to give them the opportunity. And if we're trying to be everywhere all the time and do the most and burning out and struggling to do it, we're really not going to give ourselves and our dream clients that opportunity. So how do we simplify this? How do we actually connect without it being super overwhelming? What I teach my clients is that we pick one long form platform and one short form platform to create on consistently so that your dream clients can binge your content and decide if you're the coach for them. Now, I actually love going like way deeper on which platforms and how to make this choice. But I really want to keep this applicable for you because everyone has different preferences here. But ultimately, when I'm saying long form platform, this is going to be your YouTube or your podcasting or potentially blogging. But I'll just go ahead and tell you guys, I think podcasting for coaching is like such a sweet spot here. And then one shorter form platform. So again, this is your Instagram, your TikTok, whatever the next app of the day is. But this is going to be a little bit more of that short form, shorter content. But ultimately, this usually ends up being where you connect with people. So I have had clients time and time again tell me that they binged my podcast to know they wanted to work with me, but then they're actually discovering me and like connecting with me through the short form platform. So they work together really well. But the beauty here is that you don't need to be on 10 different platforms, especially in the earlier stages of business, like one long form, one short form. Get your business to 6 figures, you can then add on more. But until you're at the 6 figures, until you've booked out with your clients, like it's a waste of time to try to be doing more. And then what else we want to do? So we have that. We also want to make sure we're publishing content, even if it sucks. And I'm not saying it sucks, but we're going to say that to ourselves, right? You're going to be like, this isn't that good. It could be better. What we really want to do here is allow ourselves to get better. Allow yourself to get good at creating content by being bad at creating content. I'm saying bad because I don't really think anyone's actually bad, but I know we feel that way, right? We may feel like it's bad. And you're never going to get good at connecting with your community and creating content if you never really start and commit to doing it. And you also want to make sure when you are connecting with your clients that you're meeting them where they are. Like, how are they talking about their problems and their desires? Where are they hanging out? And how can you help them with what they actually need help with and what they know they need help with, not necessarily what you know they need help with. So let's go ahead and do the same reevaluation here. Let's rate ourselves. When it comes to connecting with your dream clients, giving them a chance to know that you're the coach for them, to really get to binge your content, to know, like, and trust you. Are we a green, a yellow, or a red? Okay, I'm seeing yellow, yellow, red, yellow. Love it. Thank you all for, yeah, yellow, yellow. I love seeing everyone who's sharing this too, because it's super helpful. Also, I just realized I forgot to mention this earlier in the chat. If you're here with me live, you can change who you're sending your messages to say everyone and not just hosts and panelists. So some of you may not be seeing all the messages. Yellow, red. Okay, great. Yellow, good on short form, but need the long form. Pink. Patty, of course, we're coming up with a custom color. I love it. Okay, let's move on. Part 3, convert. We're captivating our people. We are connecting with them, letting them know, like, and trust us. Now it's time to talk sales. Convert. You are thinking that you need to send every client through an overly complicated multi-step sales process in order to look professional, or because that's what you're supposed to do. I'm talking about the application to reviewing the application to, oh, they were accepted, now book a sales call. Okay, now wait for your call. Okay, now we have our call. Let me send you a proposal. Okay, let's wait to get a response from the proposal. Oh, they ghosted me. Let me follow up, blah, blah, blah. No, we don't need to do that. I understand there's cool software out there like Honeybook and Dubsado, and proposals are like a big part of the service provider industry. For coaching, it's not necessary. You don't need to do it. You're complicating your process. You also think that you can only close these one-on-one coaching clients through discovery calls and sales calls, which if you're here and you're trying to work less hours, let's be real, that's tough on your schedule. It's not impossible. And certain people love doing sales calls. That's amazing. But when we're talking about 15 hours a week on your whole business, it's tough if you're doing sales calls and client calls and the two other things you need to be focusing on. It's going to be tough on your schedule. We really want to have, I want you to have less calls. It doesn't have to be no calls, but I want our calls to be really intentional. And you don't have to do sales calls to book high ticket clients. And the worst part, the worst belief you could be having about converting and selling is that you're bad at sales. If you think you're bad at sales, we're going to work on that because that's going to hold you back. You can have everything else perfect. And if you think you're bad at sales, it's going to be tough. So when we do these things, if you're operating that way, you're going to get ghosted because your dream clients want help now, right? And they're going to go somewhere else. If you don't get back to them in time or hold them up or make the process take too long, they're going to go somewhere else to get support. They don't have that loyalty to you yet. Your calendar is going to be maxed out with sales calls, which is really going to leave you very little time for the other things we want to be working on in our business. And ultimately, you're never going to actually get good at selling because you're too afraid to sell. So you're going to keep struggling to grow your business, oopsies, because you are going to consistently be thinking, I'm not good at sales. Really, really going to hold you back. So, boom, there we go. So what do we actually need to do? We're gonna have a simple sales process that allows your dream clients to get in touch with you quickly and then pay you quickly. We don't really need multiple steps in between initial conversation to here's the link to pay me. And what we're going to do is learn how to qualify and close your dream clients in the direct messages of a social media platform and via email, depending on, I like both. But what this is going to be is all about social selling, where you really can interact with people where they're at, have the very brief conversation that is actually necessary in order to qualify them and to reassure them that you are the right coach for them. And when we're going to master selling by practicing selling. It's the only way it works. You're never going to be good at selling by thinking about it or researching it. You got to do it. You got to put in the hours and practice. And you can start to see, I hope, how these things are kind of building upon each other, right? If you're good at captivating, then everything else gets easier. When you're good at connecting, the conversion gets easier, right? So like these all really amplify each other when they're all working well. So let's rate ourselves on conversion, converting our people, selling. Green, yellow, or red. How are you feeling about your ability to close a client, to sell? And, even if you're doing sales calls, that's fine too. Red, purple, yellow. I'm curious what purple means. Let's keep rating ourselves too. How are we feeling when it comes to the sales piece? Keep dropping that in the chat. Also, I do want to say thank you for those of you who are submitting questions in the Q&A. I am seeing those and we will get to those at the end of our time together. Okay, let's see. Purple means not trying. Yellow, red, green. Oh, green, yeah. I'm excited to start selling. Yellow, yeah. People are coming to me through referrals. Amazing, right? So like referrals are hugely beneficial here. And so the conversation's way easier. Yep, love that. Okay, the fourth part of the Rich Coach Framework is the coaching. Surprise. You may think that you need to be certified or extremely accomplished to offer coaching. You may think that the more access a client has to you, the better results they get, right? So you're wanting to like over deliver, show up, respond quickly, like immediate access on demand every moment of every hour. And you may think that the only way to make your clients happy is again to do everything they want immediately. Someone wants to change a call to 9 p.m., you're in, even though 9 p.m. is, you don't want to be working, right? So like this vibe around coaching is really going to hold you back in a lot of ways. And if you feel like you're not good enough, accomplished enough, or you're not certified or whatever, you're going to be perpetually struggling with imposter syndrome as a coach. And that's going to hold you back from working with your dream clients because everyone's going to sense that hesitancy in your own skills and ability to help people. You may also end up over delivering, like I mentioned, in your packages because you're like, oh, well, they need calls every single week or like unlimited calls or like whatever your version of this is. And the interesting thing about this is that it's coming from a place of service, right? You're like, oh, I want to be as available as I can be. But this can honestly turn away your dream clients if you have too much in your packages because they will say they're too busy to take advantage of it. They're too busy. They don't have time to take advantage of it, all of those calls. So it's not a good time for them. Isn't that interesting? And then on your flip side, you're going to get maxed out and you're going to have a really hard time adding on new clients if you are over delivering unnecessarily, because there is a sweet spot here that we'll talk about of enough support to get results without venturing into that over delivery zone. And ultimately, if you are failing to hold boundaries, your clients are going to walk all over you. And that's going to lead to resentment on your part. And that's probably your client's going to feel it. We're not going to get a renewal. We're not going to get a referral. Results will suffer. The experience for both parties will suffer, even if it's not addressed, even if it's just a vibe. Because when we start to allow these boundaries to slip or never even set boundaries in the first place, we start to feel like we're working with the wrong people. When the truth is, maybe that is true. Maybe we need to work on who we are captivating, but it could also be that we've sabotaged the dynamic because there are no boundaries. So like, how are they supposed to magically uphold boundaries that we never set? So what do we need to do? First of all, we need to embrace the skills and experience that you have. You need to learn to trust yourself, and you need to embrace the personal responsibility and personal power that comes with being a coach. It's really incredible, but it is truly a choice to be like, I trust myself to deal with whatever comes, and I'm going to choose to like own this power I have in this relationship, and from like a healthy place, right? Of like, it's up to me to ground this and to hold the space. I'm the leader of this space. Being a coach is being a leader in your community, to your community, and with your clients. We also want to make sure we're structuring your one-on-one packages like I talked about in this sweet spot where your clients are getting results quickly, we're overcoming resistance, we're helping them accomplish their goal. That's why people hire a coach, is to accomplish something, and still working with your lifestyle, finding that middle ground. And we are really going to master setting and holding boundaries for your clients. So like I mentioned, you can be the person grounding the relationship and the experience you have. Your client gets to come to you and feel really settled. And I keep saying grounded, maybe there's a better word for it, but truly that's what it is to me, is like your client can come to this knowing like they're held. They don't have to hold it. You're holding it for them. And that's going to unlock so much more transformation for both of you. So let's do our fun favorite rating system. When it comes to your coaching, the actual coaching you're doing, everything we talked about from boundaries to trusting yourself, how would you rate yourself here? Green, yellow, red. Yellow, green, green, green. Badass coaches in the room. Yellow, red, green. Awesome. I love, love, love seeing this. Okay. Like we can hopefully see already, each like piece of this framework on its own is really important and really powerful and significant on its own. But when they're combined, they really have an impact on each other. And it doesn't always have to go in a specific sequence either, right? But this is something we can always be improving on. When you get really good at coaching, renewals and referrals get easier, right? And you get testimonials, you get client results, which makes the selling easier, because people are being sent to you word of mouth, or you have so much proof of results that people have less hesitancy in booking with you. When we're captivating and connecting well, the selling gets easier. Like The captivating makes the connecting easier. So hopefully you can see how these 4 pieces of the Rich Coach framework are really the only 4 things to be focusing on, and how strongly they impact each other, which is really powerful because you can go through seasons where you're really wanting to hone in on your connecting skills, and it's going to make everything else smoother. And then maybe there's another season where you're really honing in on your converting or coaching skills, right? And ultimately, we're refining all of these all the time. These are skills. These are your skills that you are always developing as a business owner and as a coach. You're always improving your coaching, always improving your ability to captivate people, connect with your dream clients, and convert your dream clients. And there is actually one more piece of this puzzle. So we have our beautiful little 4-part framework, but there is actually a 5th part, and that is confidence. You have to have the confidence in yourself for any of this to work. Oopsies. My slides. And confidence isn't just something you like choose to have. You're like, I'm confident. The end. Problem solved. Confidence actually comes from action. So you can say, I'm going to be confident. You can do the mindset work around that. Yes, we love it. But ultimately, true inner confidence is going to come from following through on the commitments you make yourself. Following through on the commitments you make to yourself. I'm not even talking about to other people. When you say you're going to do something and you do it, that is powerful. And confidence comes from taking action of all kinds when you aren't confident. This is huge. You can't wait to take action until you're confident, because that will never happen. You have to take action when you aren't confident. You have to show up and start offering one-on-one coaching when you don't know what you're doing. And you have to show up and trust yourself. You have to take the action even when it feels scary, because that's when you will develop confidence. And confidence is when you fully trust yourself. It doesn't mean you know it all. It doesn't mean you have nothing else to learn. It doesn't mean you're perfect, but it means you trust yourself to handle it and to make it work and to learn and to develop and to grow. You can have the best niche, make the best content, have the best sales skills, be the best coach, but you will never reach your full potential if you're too scared to actually show up, to take the risks, to do this publicly. Confidence is integral to this whole process. So there's some key mindset shifts when we're talking about confidence that I see happen a ton. People saying, I'm not good enough. If this is you, if any of these that we're going to go through resonate with you, please know this is all with a big hug and a love and a shove. If you've ever felt like you're not good enough, we have to switch over to thinking that you are good enough exactly as you are right now. And this is truly, I'm not going to do a deep mindset like 101 here, though it's my favorite thing to talk about. There is a conscious piece of this, a declaration, a choosing, and then there is like the daily living this out and following through on like behaving this way. So we need to switch from feeling like you're not good enough to knowing and trusting that you are enough exactly as you are right now to do what you need to do right now to grow and to make it work. If you feel like you have to be perfect to start, we have to switch gears to being willing to show up imperfectly, to learning to love yourself as you are, flaws and imperfections and all, and to understand that you will get better with practice and with time. It's so funny. I think in the online business space, this pressure of perfectionism is so strong when we don't ever really expect it of other people in other areas. You would never expect your kid to pick up a violin and be like perfect at the violin. Like, they're gonna suck. It's going to not sound good. It's going to take a lot of practice. But we know that and accept that as part of the process in these other areas, and yet we don't allow it for ourselves in business. And so we have to work on that. We have to allow this growth and starting out and letting it be good enough as it is. And evidence of this is all around you. Once you start doing this, you're going to get such a positive feedback loop. I'll never forget, I published a podcast episode where like 3 minutes into the episode, I restarted the episode like 3 times or 2 times, had totally forgot to edit it out. And like days go by and people are just like, loved the episode. And literally like a week later, someone was like, oh, by the way, you forgot to edit out two of these takes that you redid. I was like, my first thought was being super embarrassed and like, oh, I can't believe no one told me. I should fix that because it's not perfect. And interestingly enough, everyone was like, no, I loved it. They loved seeing it modeled for them. And maybe not everyone did, but my people did. The people who are meant to be in my world, who resonate with me, like when I show up imperfectly. My tech issues at the beginning of this webinar, maybe it was annoying, but also maybe it showed you that like it's just normal, like it's all normal and we can just roll with it, right? If you're feeling like everyone's going to judge you and that's holding you back, I'm gonna curse. Hopefully, if anyone's got kids around, mute me. Who the fuck cares? Like, who cares? No one farther along than you will ever judge you. I remember, I didn't make this up. Someone else said this and it really stood out to me. The only people judging you, like, literally don't matter. They're either people that aren't your people, maybe in your real life. Like, if they're not going to support you, good riddance, like, peace out. But like, who cares? Like, this is the mentality, and not from a like, who cares? I don't care about other people. Like, this is not a supportive person, and this is not a person that's like meant to be a client of yours. If someone's going to sit there and judge you for being a real person, then like, goodbye. I don't want to work with you. You're not my vibe, right? And probably the same for you. So like, who cares? We have to adopt this mentality of just like not caring what other people think and just trusting that the people who are meant for you will like you as you are. If you're sitting there being like, I don't know what to do, we have to shift that again to more of this growth mindset, trusting yourself of, I will figure it out. I'll figure out what to do. I don't know what to do. Here's my best guess. Let's go. Let's do it. And I will say this one is really helpful when you're working with a mentor or you're in a community like Rich Coach Club. This is something a lot of my clients come in and get stuck here. And this is fine. I'm not saying mentorship is ever like, there's support you can get for all of these, right? But this one in particular, I find it sometimes we do just get stuck in our head and we can't escape. This is a really powerful one to be in community and mentorship with, because you can be like, let's decide. Let's pick, move on. We'll figure it out. If you're like, what if I fail? Can't do it. I might fail. You're going to see a theme here if you haven't yet. We have to shift gears to, if this doesn't work out, I'll learn. I'll make a change. I'll try again until it works. If it doesn't work out, I'll figure it out. I'll learn. This is something I shared on somewhere, Threads or something, some social media platform recently, where even like preparing for this masterclass of just like, there's this pressure we put on ourselves of like, what if it isn't perfect? What if it fails? What if it flops? Whatever. And ultimately it's like, I can only control my piece. And like, if something doesn't go according to plan, like I'll learn what I need to learn. I'll learn whatever lesson I need to learn through this experience. Whether it fails or succeeds, I need to make this next step and follow through to learn some type of lesson to then take the next step. We really want to adopt that type of mentality. And ultimately, it's really about going from, I can't do this, to I can do this. It can be that simple, but just this true fundamental belief shift in yourself. Just, I can do this. I can do this. Super powerful, simple, but powerful. Ultimately, when it comes to the confidence, you have to be your own biggest fan. You have to be your own biggest hype person. And you have to learn to embrace who you are right now. And I really want to focus on this. Like, no one's ever going to be more excited about your offers than you. No one's ever going to be more excited about a piece of content you create than you, or the result you get your client than you. And that's okay. That's good. That's natural. But we have to realize then that if we aren't our own biggest fan, like no one else is going to be. No one else is going to be excited about the work you're doing more than you. So be your biggest fan. Get excited about the work you do. Get hype about the impact you have and the potential impact you can have. as you build your business. So when it comes to confidence, how would we rate ourselves? Are we in a green, yellow, red? When it comes to this mentality of allowing ourselves to show up as we are, to take risks, to make those mindset shifts, to trust that we can do this, how are we feeling? Green, yellow, red. We got a light green. We got a totally green. We got a red. We got a yellow green, green, green. I love it. It's so fun seeing how everyone's kind of at different places with all of these components. Let me take a sip of Diet Coke. As we talked about, all 5 of these pieces truly make an impact on each other. And if you're missing just one of any of these pieces, it's like you're missing a leg on a stool, because this entire framework works together. If you're really struggling to explain the results you help people with, everything else kind of suffers. It's harder to connect and to sell and to coach, right? If we're really struggling on our coaching skills and we're not actually confident in how we can help people, it's going to be really hard to talk about how you help people and to close sales, right? So each of these pieces support and build each other up, but they also can hold each other back if we're missing them entirely or really not focusing on refining them. This is when you're going to start to run into resistance. You're going to struggle to find your dream clients, maybe even struggle to keep them, and absolutely be on a path to burnout because you're just going to be spinning your wheels. We really need to have all 5 of these pieces. And I like how confidence is just this little sunburst over here. So you might be stuck in one of these places right now. We've talked about all these pieces of the framework. Functionally, you may be coming at a couple different places. So I work with clients who come at all of these places. So you may be in the spot where you're like trying to get going. So you're like, you get some clients, yay. And then you're like, well, I don't have any more clients. Why isn't anyone interested? And then you're like, get a client ends. Back and forth. And you're like, oh, well, obviously I can't increase my prices because I haven't booked out, right? This isn't working. How could I even charge more? And then you're like, okay, you got another dip. Well, maybe I need to add more packages. Maybe I just don't have enough offers. And then ultimately a year's passed and you're like, what the heck am I doing wrong? Like, I'm trying. During this, you're doing some of those mistakes we talked about already. You're probably trying to show up on every freaking platform. You're probably working really hard trying to coach the clients you have, but you're over delivering. And you're really struggling to get that momentum going as you're starting your business. Or you could be in this like feast or famine stage, right? So you're like, yay, I'm booked out. You no longer feel like you have time to market and create content because you're like, I'm so booked out. So then those clients end and you're like, oh crap, I need no clients. So you like start marketing again and take some time, and then you get more clients and you're like, okay, well, I'm too busy again. I can't do this anymore. So the same thing happens over and over again. And you're like, oh, why don't I have any leads? No one wants to work with me. Then finally it works. You get some clients and you're like, something's obviously not working. Maybe I just can't have this many clients at a time. So you try to adjust your packaging or whatever. And ultimately you're just like, I can't keep doing this. Like this whole high and low and clients and no clients and yada, yada, yada. Like this isn't working. I need more consistent income. This sucks. I've totally been there. All of these, none of them necessarily feel great, but I have felt this way before. It's one of the reasons, I will talk about this later, I love monthly recurring revenue, because it's really hard to like have a high month and then be like, oh, I'm starting from zero again. It's like, it starts to feel like you're on this like hamster wheel of trying to like, what am I going to do this month? Or you could be booked out and burned out. So you could be like, yay, clients, maybe I can take on more. So you try to take on more. You're kind of like getting that monthly recurring revenue. And you're like, okay, well, I need more money, but I'm kind of maxed out, but like, maybe I can do it anyways, right? You're like, okay, I'll take on a couple more clients that really need more money. And then you're like, shit, I can't do this. I gotta let people go now. Like, this is when you're like, I'm not offering renewals. You might like let a client go. Like you were like, I am burned out. This isn't working. And then whoop, there goes your income. And you're just at that point where you're like, this just isn't scalable. And maybe you're like, coaching just isn't going to work for me. Maybe you've been here before. I know some people in the pre-webinar, pre-masterclass survey felt like they've tried coaching, but maxed out, burned out, hit a ceiling. Maybe you can tell you're on this path, right? And you're just like, I don't know if this can work for me. I'm going to introduce you to the actual like rich coach method that I recommend when it comes to booking, pricing, and we'll get into the math of this in a minute too, but just from a high level view, how I want this to look for you instead of this super low or the feast and the famine or the burning out. This is what I want for you instead. I want you to get booked out at your initial rate. And if you just stayed there, we're smooth sailing, but we're not going to stay there. We're going to increase your prices very intentionally and purposefully, and you're going to get booked out at your new rate. And then now our monthly recurring revenue is higher. Then we're going to increase our prices again. Sorry, I got hiccups. And then again, we see our monthly recurring revenue has now increased. And then we're going to do, this may not be final for like the career of your business, right? But in the scope of this year, we're going to do another price increase, get booked out. And this is a great opportunity to introduce a scalable offer if you want. So if you are like, especially at the newer stages of business, you're starting the business or you're starting a new business, spending the whole time getting your one-on-one coaching to this level is how I want you to focus, because this is where you're going to truly master the entire framework we just talked about. And all of those skills you develop when you're just building out one-on-one coaching to this point are going to make scalable offers so easy, so much easier, because you know how you help people. You've got a ton of testimonials. You're super confident in your process. And now it's really natural to apply that to a group. And this is a great opportunity to then say, yeah, now I'm ready to do scalable. But I do think when you try to introduce scalable offers or too many offers sooner in this process, it gets harder and harder to actually hit where we want to go. And I'm going to, like I said, we're going to get into the math in just a sec. So like, how do we do this? How do we do this in 15 hours a week? Like maybe we're all on board with the strategy of the framework. We like the philosophy. We love the idea of like this new income graph we just talked about, but like, we don't have a lot of time. How does this look? The truth is that you're spending your current time on the wrong things. I say it with love and from someone who's done it. Like 9 times out of 10, the limited time you do have is being spent on the wrong things. And that's exactly why I'm teaching you the 15-hour work schedule, because a simple business means you have a simple strategy. And my goal is that you know exactly how much time to spend on certain priorities each week. And ultimately, when you have this like weekly planning, major goal setting, like kind of isn't necessary, because you're like, I already know, I know what I'm doing. And when you're working on private coaching in particular, it's super simple. We're not talking launches. We're not talking all these like crazy things. You're just mastering your private coaching, getting booked out, working with clients, mastering and refining all of these skills. So your schedule right now might look like this. So you might have a whole bunch of stuff you're trying to do. And you're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, jumping from one thing, jumping to the next. Every day looks different. Every week looks different, right? Like this week has a lot of sales calls. Maybe the next week has none. Maybe other times you're like doing a whole lot of planning, and you know, you really don't want to be working Saturdays and Sundays, but like you didn't get everything done, right? So you're trying to make time work on the weekends. This is how I find most people are treating, you know, their time and their calendar and their time management is like, we're a little all over the place. If this resonates with you too, like drop an emoji in the chat so we can all know that we're not alone here. This interruptions back and forth, not knowing what to do. This is super stressful. This is very overwhelming. No wonder, like the mental load of this type of business is so high, right? Like that's a lot. It's tough. And just know you're not alone. Stephanie, I love what you just said in the chat. It's not only time management, but energy management. Exactly. How the heck are you going to be managing your energy when every day you feel behind? Every day you feel like you're not working on what you should be doing, or you don't know what to be doing, or you're not like accomplishing the thing you're actually wanting to be accomplishing. It's common to be here, but I don't want you to get stuck here. That's why we're talking. It could literally look like this. These little blocks are like reflective of 1 hour, basically. We're going to dig into this though, so don't worry about that. I'm going to come back to it. Before, let's do a little check-in. I already had you guys pop in the chat. I forgot I was rating you here, having you rate yourself. But let's do a little check-in when it comes to how you spend your time right now. Green, yellow, red. How do you feel about your schedule right now? Are you like really happy with how you're spending your time? Are you feeling like you're really struggling in this area, somewhere in between, or maybe it goes back and forth? Red, red, yellow, yellow, yellow. Oh my gosh, Holly, your message. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Love a good Taylor Swift reference. Yellow, yep. Definitely not alone. So let's break this down. What are the 3 priorities? What are our 3 little time blocks that I kind of gave you a little snippet of on your schedule? And how do we actually break down these 15 hours? Now, before I get into this, I always want to do a disclaimer here. This schedule is meant to simplify your life, where you literally don't have to make choices. And I don't mean that literally, but like theoretically, you could distribute these 15 hours differently if you wanted to. Of course, we all know that, right? But the reality is that this prioritization is what I recommend because it reflects the priorities of a business at this stage. And it allows you to not have to wonder about how to spend your time and instead go ahead and shift into action. Okay, I have this many hours on this. How do I want to fill them? What is the one strategy I'm going to do to fill this, right? So again, I don't want anyone to get caught up on like, well, I disagree. It should be 4 instead of 3. Like, whatever. Start with this. Start with what I tell you to do, and then we can iterate on it. So priority 1 is coaching, 7 hours a week of coaching. Now, this does not have to be calls. I want to be really clear. This could be asynchronous coaching. So maybe you do voice memo support with your clients, or you chat, do some Slack, Boxer, Telegram. But some of this will be calls as well. So showing up and serving directly your clients, your one-on-one coaching clients, 7 hours a week at most. And again, not all that's live. Not all that's on a call. The next priority, 5 hours a week, content and sales. Now, I like to keep content and sales in this context kind of merged because there's no point in overthinking, is this a content task or a sales task? Like the connection and conversion part of our framework when it comes to actual tasks can be quite similar, right? Whether you're, recording a podcast episode or replying to a sales conversation in the direct messages, it's kind of like the same goal, right? We're doing the connection and the converting in the name of getting clients. So I like to merge it that way also because when we're creating content, it should be through the lens of sales, right? And then that leaves 3 hours left for what I call admin work. Especially at this stage of business, you may be a solopreneur, you may not have help. So we're the ones kind of doing the back end, answering some emails. Maybe you need to do some bookkeeping or set up whatever back end stuff we got to do, admin. But we really don't need more time than this. This is one of those things you can get really sucked into. And if you're one of the ones who on our previous calendar, we're going to come back, you do a lot of this planning. When we have a schedule like this, you really don't have to plan as much. So not only does having the schedule reduce the mental load of your life and business, but it also reduces the planning time that is necessary. You don't have to sit there and plan your week for an hour when you know how you're going to be spending your time already. And the cool thing about this is it's a completely modular system. You can allocate these 15 hours however you want across your week. So maybe you like working 5 days a week, but you just don't want to work that many hours. This is 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Maybe that's what you can do. This is kind of what my schedule usually looks like. So, once a day I'm checking in with my coaching clients. So sometimes it doesn't even take an hour. Sometimes it takes a full hour. This will be checking in on messages, reaching out, doing some coaching calls, things like that. So coaching, I like to do a little check-in each day. And then each day might be some type of content. This isn't my exact schedule, by the way. I have the same blocks. Just I don't want to get hung up on how Megan spends her time. But I like to have a little sales block every day because I want to be responding to DMs every day, right? If someone's in my DMs wanting to work with me, I want to be I want to be in on that. And then podcasting is pretty easy. You could just record an episode in one of these blocks, right? And then admin is just on those random days. But this is modular, remember? So maybe you don't want to work like that. Maybe you want to work 3 days a week and you really want one day to be where you do your calls. Wednesday's my call day. Tuesday's my content day, right? We can kind of see how this could be really nice mentally as well, right? And you're like, "Ooh, wide open." Also, this is not that many hours a day. This is 5 hours a day of focus work. Maybe you want to work 2 days a week. So you're like, okay, this is still less than like, this is 8 hours. So if we're thinking like full-time job, a lot of people have this many blocks every day. That's what this schedule, this is like 40-hour work week with some weekend work. Boom, boom. Where was I? Here. So maybe you just want to work Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is how these blocks could go. So again, modular. The main thing is that we are prioritizing in this season of your business, we are prioritizing our time towards coaching. We want to get really good at the content and the sales happening quickly. When we're showing up, when we're thinking about the framework and everything we've talked about, when you allow the content to be bad, but you're just getting in the habit of using your voice, experimenting with your messaging, putting something out there, hitting publish. This doesn't have to take that long. When we're just getting really good at the sales conversations, we don't have a complicated sales process. This is mainly just responding to an email, sending a DM, responding to a DM. Fast, simple, lightweight, low lift, very easy. So coaching is really where we want to master. We want to be on calls with clients, messaging clients, getting clients results. We want to be getting testimonials from clients. We want to renew our clients. This is a very appropriate allocation of where to spend your time at this stage of your business. And honestly, it feels really good to prioritize coaching your clients. Feels awesome to be like, yeah, the content and the sales thing is kind of happening because I've got the captivation part down. I'm refining the content. I'm refining the sales. And now the coaching is where that word of mouth, the testimonials, we're increasing our pricing. We're constantly up-leveling our coaching skills. It's beautiful. Or you may want your schedule to look whatever. This is just another random example. Maybe you don't want to work Wednesdays or Fridays, right? But again, you can kind of see, maybe you're like, especially those of you who don't have childcare, maybe you can't have these big focus blocks. You know, you don't want to do client calls on the weekends, but maybe you can get a babysitter on Thursdays. That can be a client call day. And maybe during a nap time or an evening, or you go get childcare so that you can go out of the house, you know, whatever your circumstances are. Maybe you are doing a little weekend work. It's totally fine. This is up to you. It's up to you how you spend your time. And this is from one of my clients about how, you know, they kind of felt stuck. They knew what they needed to do, but couldn't execute. Maybe you resonate with that. But working with me, getting my input, getting my support, helping them not overcomplicate it was really helpful. And they said, investing in yourself and your business with a coach who is in your corner, cheering you on. You won't regret it. So tell me in the chat. Tell me in words or with an emoji. When we're thinking about that schedule I showed you, how would it feel to have a schedule this simple? How would this feel? What's the emotion or emoji? Relieving, freeing, amazing, confetti emoji, heart eyes emoji. Hopefully it is that like, oh, right? Just like simple. Yes, it's just like, yeah, I can do this, right? I can figure this out. More time with your littles, absolutely. That's what we want. And this is very much realistic and possible for you. So at this point, we've broken down the strategy, the 5-part strategy for the Rich Coach framework. We've talked about your weekly schedule and what that can look like. And now let's do math. Let's see what this looks like. You have probably done this yourself. You've been told to do this. This isn't going to break your brain, but you're probably like, yeah, okay, we got to reverse engineer 100K, right? Now, I actually like to do it a little bit of a different way, but I'm going to show you that way just so you can see it. Let's see the different ways we could reverse engineer 100K. So you could charge $1,000 a client. And I'm just going to assume in all of this math, these like 3-month packages, if your brain needs to know that information. Let's say you charge $1,000. You'd need 100 clients. That's a lot. Like, ooh, you can't charge $1,000 forever, do 100 clients and have this life first business we just talked about. Okay, so let's talk higher. Maybe you're charging $5,000 a client. Still need 20 clients across the year. Do you feel like you could charge that much? Do you feel like you could charge 5K for 3 months right now? Or maybe you want to do 10K for 10 clients. Do you have the results to back that up? Do you have the experience to back up a 5-figure coaching package for 3 months? Maybe you do, but I don't love any of these. I think these are too simple and straightforward. I think these aren't nuanced enough, and they definitely don't reflect what we talked about of gradually increasing your prices, because I don't want you doing $1,000 for 100 clients, but we may start at $1,000 for a client. None of these calculations take into account that you're getting better over the year. You're refining, your clients are getting results, you're increasing your prices, and I want to show that in our math. So I have 4 phases of what I think we should do for price increases. And this is going to look relatively familiar because we kind of did a quick breakdown of this earlier, but now we're just putting math with it. So let's say your first 10 clients, you're going to do $1,000 for a 3-month private coaching package. There's 10K. We're going to then increase our prices. So maybe then you do $2,400 for a 3-month package for 10 clients, $24K. Then we're going to move into phase 3. We're ready to charge $3,000. So it's about $1,000 a month. You're going to get 10 clients. There's your $30K. Phase 4, we're going to charge more, $4,500 a month, but we can actually take on less clients now. So you can start to see as you increase your rates, you may be able to decrease how many clients you work with. $36K. There's $100K. Now this may be like, that's 38, that's a lot of clients. These could be renewals. Again, there's nuance to all of this, right? You could have a client up here who renews and goes with your higher rate with renewal. I totally have had that happen. My private clients have absolutely gone on my price increase journey with me, and they are cool with it. So this doesn't necessarily have to be 38 new unique clients, right? It could be. And we're talking about a whole year here. 10 clients at one single time, 8 clients at one single time. It's pretty doable, especially when we have 7 hours a week that we're devoting to coaching. Very reasonable. I have absolutely been in coaching programs where people are like 16 clients at one time, 20 clients at one time. And let me tell you, I don't recommend it. I feel like 10, absolute max. If that's all you're doing in your business, you can handle it really well. If you're doing other things, 10 might be a stretch. But do we see how like this type of gradual price increase is a lot more reasonable and realistic, and still helps us hit that 100K without being like, I need 100 clients at $1,000. No, this price increase structure, these 4 phases, models this rich coach model I showed you earlier. I think I have another graphic I'll show you in a sec, but you can see here, these line up. Phase 1, boom, price increase to phase 2, price increase to phase 3, price increase to phase 4. So this is here, right when you're here, this is where we talk about maybe we're ready to scale. You've hit 6 figures, let's add in some other offers. You may choose to keep doing one-on-one, transition out of one-on-one, very much a personal choice we could help you make. But this is what I want us to be working towards to hit the 100K. And if you're like, how would I increase my prices that much in a year? If your clients are getting results, you should have no hesitation increasing your prices every 10 clients. I've increased prices with like less, like 5 clients, 3 clients, totally up to your level of confidence and the results you're getting your clients. But without a doubt, there's no reason to feel hesitant about increasing your prices if your clients are getting results. If we're running into an issue where clients aren't getting results, we may have a conversation, totally fine. But assuming you are getting your clients results, you should totally feel comfortable increasing your prices. Now, if you're already an established coach who's booking out at your current rates, I will totally help you customize this plan for you, because I understand if you're already charging more than 1K, like this plan doesn't make sense, right? So you may be coming in midway through. You may be jumping in at phase 2, phase 3, or somewhere else, depending on where you're at. So if you are in Rich Coach Club in particular, we can help you customize this for sure. And just a reminder, like this framework, wherever you're at in your business, whatever stage you're at, whether you're in the feast and the famine, you're established, you're already coaching, you're not coaching yet, this framework works because these are the core skills you need to refine and master to have a successful coaching business. If you're just starting out, a game plan might look like focusing on the confidence first. It's key to everything. Deciding what your niche is, designing your one-on-one offer, setting up your sales process, creating content. If you already have an audience, you might shift it a little bit. Still going to start with the confidence piece first, but you already have a niche. Maybe we just need to confirm it, maybe refine it, nail that down a little bit more. Then we're going to design that one-on-one offer because you don't do coaching yet, set up your sales process, and then maybe you're already doing content. We just need to refine it. Maybe you're already coaching. We just need to make sure we got that mindset locked in, that confidence piece, make sure we're committed to that. If we're having any issues of follow through, then we're really just refining the niche, refining the offers you have, refining how you sell, and refining how you market with your content. Wherever you're at, whatever plan we have for you, my goal for you is that you go from feeling scattered like this. I hope this resonates. This little scribble really deeply resonated with me. I was like, I've felt that way before. Where there are just so many options of what to focus on, what to prioritize, category business. It's like, well, I want you to go from this, which I'm deeming scattered, to like calm, clear, and confident, because you know exactly what to prioritize to achieve your goals. And therefore your to-do list is crazy simple. When we think about that 15-hour a week schedule, that's your to-do list. Like your to-do list is super simple. And I want you to also be entering into the state of refinement and mastery. I've used the word mastery a lot, and it's very intentional, because when you have this plan in place and you focus in on it, you get to shift out of planning and figuring out what to do and strategizing and always being in that zone to just like getting really, really good at it. Just getting really good at these skills through practice, through repetition, and through time. And so I want you to shift into this ability to master and refine those essential skills of the framework. One of my clients said that I have a knack for simplifying things and that I'm the queen of simple systems and game-changing mindset shifts that make business feel easy and fun. Put this on my tombstone because I love it. So tell me in the chat. Again, it can be words, it can be an emoji. How would it feel to have a plan like this focused? And just to have going from this scribbly brain to just like, this is what I'm working on. And I get to just show up and get better at it over and over again. I'd love to hear in the chat an emoji or a feeling that this kind of gives you, like just knowing like, this is what I'm working on. This is it. Here's my plan for how I'm gonna make 100K. Here's what my priorities are. And now I'm just gonna do it. Let's see. Wonderful. Smiley face. Happy face and a clap. A++. I don't know. I'm like realizing I don't know how to say emojis out loud. Patty, I love the beach emoji. I'm very, very vibey with that. I love it. Okay, so let's like recap where we're at so far. We've talked about a lot. So we've talked about the 5 parts of the Rich Coach framework, right? We like went through that whole 5-part: captivate, connect, convert, coach, and confidence, and how they impact each other, how important they are with each other, and how these are really the only things to be focusing on. We've also talked about the 15-hour work schedule. So you know how to ditch the distractions and prioritize your time, which is this. If we recall, we have our lovely breakdown: 7 hours a week on coaching, 5 hours a week on content and sales, 3 hours a week on admin. And we've also looked at a couple different ways that this can play out on our actual calendars, because it's modular and you can move them around based on your lifestyle, your availability, things like that. And we've also talked about the 4 phases of that 100K business plan, so you can confidently increase your prices while working with only 10 clients at a time. And that's what this looks like as a recap. I'm like loving my little visuals I made here, you guys. Okay. And when we go through all of this and you implement all of this, you're going to feel so much more clear on where you're headed. You're going to be able to shift into actually executing. So here you're going to get so much clarity like this client here, but then we're going to actually get to do it, right? You get to shift into actually executing on all of this. So tell me in the chat, from everything we've talked about so far, do you have a favorite moment of this masterclass so far? Was there a big aha moment that really stood out to you? What has been your big takeaway so far? Is there something you're going to shift right now? Are you going to implement a price change? Are you going to implement something with the modular schedule? Are you going to really focus in on one of the pieces of the framework? Let's see, the pricing model, super powerful and clear, the 15-hour week, the price phases, incrementally increasing prices rather than staying at one price point all year. Yes, yes, yes. Reviewing my mentoring offer in the 15-hour breakdown. Okay, cool, super helpful. Pricing models for sure, schedule change. Okay, I love this. So glad that the pricing model was valuable for you guys. So let's talk. In order to achieve your goals, you need those 5 things, right? Captivate, connect, convert, coach, confidence. This is going to be ingrained in all of our brains after this, right? And I don't want you to have to like do 5 separate courses, piece it all together, DIY this all on your own, and like blah, 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 right? Because the reality is that you can't just copy what you see another coach doing and really do all this. And I don't even mean like copying me, but I just mean when you're looking around at other coaches, other mentors, people you look up to, what you're seeing on the surface is their fancy Stripe payouts. I don't know if you follow coaches who post that, but it's equal parts inspiring and it can be triggering too, right? So you're seeing Stripe payouts of people making thousands and thousands of dollars. You're seeing their Instagram posts getting tons of engagement. You're seeing emails get sent out. You're seeing podcast episodes get dropped. You're seeing the offers they're sharing publicly and people joining those. You're seeing the wins they're getting for their client. And you're like, how do I do this? Right? And so this is the only information you can really see publicly. So you're trying to make decisions for your business based on only this. When the reality is that there's a whole lot going on beneath the surface that you can't see publicly online, right? People have private offers that you don't even know about that they're selling. They also have leads that are ghosting them, right? So they probably have people in their DMs who don't buy. They've got a lot of confidence that they're working with. They're doing business strategy. They have client issues. They are really building relationships. They have their own mentor. They are planning. They have a big commitment and follow through with what they're doing. They're always working on personal development. They're researching, they're experimenting and more, right? So we can't just like do what other people are doing and expect to be able to mimic it and make it work for us when there's a lot here we aren't taking into account. And the truth is that I don't want you to miss something critical that could help you grow your coaching business and your happiness along the way. I really feel like one of my gifts in this world is to help you take action, but to also find the way of doing it for you that is going to fulfill you. Because if we are just looking around what other people are doing, you may end up building a business that looks like someone else's, but doesn't actually tap into your zone of genius, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this is exactly why I created the Rich Coach Club. I love this program so much. And you're invited to join us for this round of enrollment. You can go to richcoachclub.com or simplifywithmegan.com/club. I'll put that in the chat in a second, but I want to talk about it a little bit more before we get into it. Because the Rich Coach Club is a very special program. I very intentionally designed it to be a one-of-a-kind program where we're going to support you in building a one-on-one coaching business that's designed to put your personal life first. Anyone who's here live who is in Rich Coach Club can vouch for the fact that like I am modeling this for sure. Like a kid might walk in on a call, I'm showing up without makeup on, the bed might be a mess behind me, but I'm still fully present and grounded in our work together and showing you that you can do this. I rescheduled this masterclass because my personal life comes first. My whole household got hand, foot, mouth, including me. I still have blisters peeling from it. And like, that is okay. If my child needs me or something happens, like my business is intentionally set up where that is the priority. And I want that to be the same for you, whether you're a parent or not. A lot of us just desire a life that doesn't revolve around work, right? Whether that's just because that's what you want, or you have chronic illness or other responsibilities. I want you to have a business that truly allows you to build it life first. And that's the number one part of the Rich Coach Club for sure. Another big piece of this here is I am going to help you overcome perfectionism and ditch the overwhelm and take action like no one's business. I truly think I am here on this earth to activate people. I love it. And I love when I'm on a hot seat call with one of my clients and I'm like, next week, I want that live by next week. And it's always coming from a place of like love and encouragement and activation, not like stress and pressure. But I truly think that being in a community of like-minded people working towards a certain type of business with the same values is so helpful for not getting stuck. For not getting stuck in that overthinking and resistance and perfectionism. So let's talk about how Rich Coach Club works. I am so excited because we are going to be releasing, I say it's me. I'm going to be releasing brand new curriculum in Rich Coach Club that is going to guide you step by step through the entire Rich Coach framework, those 5 pieces we just outlined from start to finish. This is exclusive curriculum. I've never had available separately. It is not going to be available separately. The only place to access it will be within Rich Coach Club. And this curriculum is going to be released over the next 2 months. So over the course of May and June, all of the trainings for the Rich Coach framework and this curriculum will be released. And I want to guide you through every single thing we just talked about. And I'm actually going to break down for you here what those modules are going to look like. We'll talk about some values in a second, but my big ethos here is I'm going to trust my intuition to get you the results fastest. So I want to be super transparent coming into this. This is my game plan for these modules, but when I'm creating the content and getting feedback from you, I might restructure these if it makes more sense. So don't get like married to these 5 modules, but the intention and the outcomes will be there the same. First, we're going to talk about confidence. If you noticed when I was breaking down how this applies to you at different stages of business, every single one, we worked on that confidence piece first, because you got to develop the mindset to go all in and to stay focused. We got to commit to those 3 things that matter, create your focused action plan, your standardized schedule. We'll do your 15-hour a week schedule and how to apply that. And then we're going to troubleshoot. So one of the things that's going to be continuously added to this curriculum over the course of this program will be troubleshooting things. So as I'm noticing people getting stuck, I'll be adding more. But for sure, we're going to talk about what to do when you get distracted, what to do when you feel imposter syndrome. Then we're going to dig into Captivate, how to create that balanced I help niche statement, how to decide that result you're going to help your one-on-one clients with, how to actually reverse engineer your package, like what's included, how many calls, what type of support, what's the process need to look like for what you do. We're going to talk about pricing again. I know I basically already told you a great pricing plan here, but we're going to get into more detail on the pricing plan, increasing your rates, things like that. And we're going to troubleshoot what you need to do when you need to change your package. So maybe you need to change your rates or change what's included and you're working with clients or whatever like that. The next module, we're going to talk about that connect piece. We're going to understand how to attract your dream clients in less than 5 hours a week. We're going to find those dream clients. We're going to create your sales content strategy. So picking those platforms, the one long form, the one short form. I've already seen some great Q&As come in that we will get to in the live Q&A about different types of platforms. So this is where it can really give you personalized feedback on all the different ways you could go about that. And we'll troubleshoot what to do when you aren't attracting dream clients or when you feel like you're spending too much time creating content. Module 4 is going to be all about converting and sales. So how to set up that simple sales process, how to sell in direct messages. So absolutely like consider this social selling 101. You're going to learn how to sell in emails. You're going to troubleshoot when you aren't closing those dream clients. And I imagine this module will have a lot more troubleshooting added over time. And then we're going to talk about coaching. So how to onboard your clients, how to set up your delivery, how to get your clients results, how to run an effective coaching session, how to collect testimonials, how to upsell and renew your clients, how to offboard your clients, and how to troubleshoot when they aren't getting results, and how to troubleshoot when you need to reset boundaries. So there's going to be some really exciting stuff in here. Whew. I have to take a breath, you guys. Okay, so that's all about the curriculum piece. That's the education piece. Rich Coach Club is a really cool program because it is a mix of what I consider to be like a perfect combo of education and self-study resources with community and mentorship. And I think that trifecta is like really, really powerful. So of course, we've got hot seat coaching calls in this program. So twice a month, we meet up for hot seat coaching calls. And this is where it's truly hot seats. You raise your hand, you tell me you want some time, and we are masterminding together. And the rest of the people in the space too are contributing when they have something to share. But this is like deep coaching with me. You're coming with whatever issue you have. It could be you want to brainstorm an offer, you're having a sales issue, you're having a mindset issue, a strategy issue, we need to change gears. I am your coach during this hot seat call. I mean, I'm your coach the whole time, but these are really, really powerful. And if you can't make it live, replays are available in the private podcast that you get. There's a Rich Coach Club private podcast. So you can watch the replays in our community, but you can also just listen to them. And if you are unsure about like value from listening to a hot seat, one of our clients is actually from Patty, who's here with us live. She said she was able to catch the replay of the hot seat coaching call from yesterday. It was super helpful. And she thought it was amazing how much she gleaned from just hearing others being coached, even though she wasn't there live. So absolutely, there's a ton of value when you can come to these hot seat calls, but even when you can't, listening is going to help you apply so much to your own business as well. There's also personalized reviews, critiques, and audits. So you can submit questions or actual assets for me to review to get my direct input on how you can improve your offers. So you can literally submit, this is my offer, I want feedback on it. This is my product suite, I want feedback on it. Or here's a sales conversation I had. You could send in screenshots of like a sales conversation you had in the DMs, and I could give you feedback on it. How are you spending your time? Whatever you got going on, I want to give you feedback on it. So you can submit a question, a plan, a sales conversation, a piece of content, whatever it is, and I will give you personalized feedback. Sometimes it's in a Loom video, sometimes it's writing, sometimes it's an audio message, but all of my feedback that I review is available in a shared database so that you can always search this shared database and see what other feedback people have gotten as well while you're working on something. So this is such a powerful resource, not only to get actual critique from me, but to also benefit from the critiques and feedback of others. You're, of course, going to get the Rich Coach community. So you'll be able to access our community hosted in Kajabi, build meaningful relationships, support each other in implementing the framework. We have fun challenges that are going on right now during Q2. We're doing like a weekly check-in challenge. There's an onboarding challenge. I'm excited to do like sales challenges going forward. Lots of fun stuff up my sleeves. And ultimately just collaborate with other coaches who are in the same journey as you. So one of our clients over here shared like a debrief from a marketing strategy she implemented and how that went. So it's such a special space to be in community with others who are coaches of all kinds. But again, we have the same values and goal in mind. There's also rewards and milestones. So every time you get a client, you're going to submit this super short form, notify it with me. And this is going to allow us to track your progress to 100K, which is really cool. Every time you submit it, you'll get an email letting you know your progress so far. We'll celebrate with you. And as you hit certain milestones along the way, you will unlock exclusive rewards, like maybe an exclusive mastermind call, one-on-one calls with me, things like that, just to help you stay, not only stay motivated, but to truly give you higher levels of support as you progress on your journey. You also get access to the client-only private podcast called The Scoop, where you get the inside scoop on my business, what's working, launch debriefs, and more. So after this launch is over, The Scoop is going to get like a launch debrief private podcast, and I just share random things that are popping up over there. You also get access to the on-demand training vault. So this is past programs, masterclasses, trainings. So this includes private coaching launch kit, nail your niche masterclass, next level you. So some of these are programs that are no longer publicly available. And you can literally jump in. So even though our curriculum is going to be released over the next 2 months, there's so much in here already for you to master your niche, to pick out your content strategy, to implement some private coaching strategies. So there's a lot here, and I can help guide you just to specific lessons that already exist based on what you need to be focusing on right now. Now, Rich Coach Club is a 12-month program, and this is very intentional because I want you to take fast action to get the ball rolling. Like we talked about, we're moving, but the resistance is going to come after you're taking action too, right? So you're going to take that action, and then that's when you're going to need the continued support as you refine, as you try to improve your sales skills, as you try to increase your prices, as you want to, and just continue to raise your rates, stay booked out, master those skills. It's a journey, and I want to be there with you along the way. And so overall, your general journey over the 12 months is going to be jumping in and making those decisions. So like, what's your plan? Confirming your niche, all of those things we talked through. And then your first step is going to be getting booked out at phase 1. And when you do that, just 2 clients, 2.5 clients, and you get a return on your investment. So you're going to absolutely do that very quickly. And then we're going to shift into this phase 2, 3, 4 of your journey, and just this mastering and refining and getting feedback and mentorship and community throughout the year. Each part of this program is truly worth so much. And I say that with like genuine love for this program and just an understanding of how valuable each piece of this is. Like I mentioned, if you do phase 1 pricing, 2.5 clients, and you've already made a return on your investment, and just that alone is great. Obviously, you'll make so many more clients and so much more money beyond that. But then let's talk about some of the skills besides just like making money because you got clients. When you learn how to create content quickly that actually attracts and closes those dream clients, lifelong skill, truly a lifelong skill that will serve you so well. When you can master selling without sales calls, again, endless potential to keep making money. Becoming a trusted coach that gets your clients results, the credibility, the expertise, the referral, the word of mouth, the fulfillment that comes from that, the pride, and then building a life first business that is truly going to allow you to have that freedom and flexibility. All of these things are incredibly valuable and will really add a lot to your life. And everything combined is going to be everything we can, what are words? And with everything combined in a unique way for you, this is all worth like so much more than the investment. So let's talk about it. Are you going to spend another day trying to figure out what to work on? Are you going to spend another month working on your new private offer or watching other coaches around you booking their dreamy high ticket clients while you're just like posting an Instagram story and hearing crickets? Or you're going to keep procrastinating because you need to learn more, get things right, or you're just not ready yet? I don't want you to do that. How much is it costing you to stay there? How much is it costing you not to move forward with this? And before we do, let's talk values, because I don't want you in Rich Coach Club if we don't align on a couple of things here. So there's some key philosophies here that I want to make sure we're aligned with, and then we're going to jump into the live Q&A in just a sec. Clarity comes from action. This is a huge part of my coaching. This is a huge part of Rich Coach Club, is that clarity and confidence only come from taking action when you don't feel ready. So Rich Coach Club is for those of you who are ready to be committed to being brave, to always moving forward, and to trusting yourself to handle any situation. This is also about monthly recurring revenue being the goal, so that you're not starting each month from zero. And I want you to have a stress-free business. And when you have this monthly recurring revenue stacking, that's how you get stress-free, because you're not on this feast and famine roller coaster cycle anymore. We're also playing the long game, little video game over here, because it takes time. Things take time, right? In a world of dopamine and instant results and wanting things to happen super, super quickly, we have to be willing to show up and to refine and to master and to get better and to trust that we'll all come together in time. That doesn't mean it takes ages to get booked out, but it means we have to be willing to play the long game holistically in our business. We also know that simple is best and complexity is the enemy. So when something is getting complicated, confusing, or you can just tell it's like taking you way longer to do than it should reasonably, we can see this as a red flag and we can shift gears. So I can help you shift gears, change your strategy to suit you and your strengths and your zone of genius. Which leads me to the zone of genius magic. We know that tapping into your innate skills, strengths, and your zone of genius is essential to growing a business that feels easy. I see resistance as an opportunity to innovate and do things your own way. So when we have those resistant moments, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. How can we instead flip that around and tap into your natural strengths instead of trying to do something that just doesn't fit into your natural zone of genius? A good example of this for me is graphic design. Graphic design is where I get stuck. And so I avoid it at all costs. It's a miracle these are slides, and they were almost a Google Doc, but I avoid graphics as much as I can, not because they're bad, but because it's a sticking point for me. I also avoid editing my podcast because editing will trigger perfectionism. So again, those things are going to be custom to you, and we can help you identify what those are, but we're going to start to view everything we're doing through this lens of tapping into your own zone of genius. We're going to keep it real. Trying to be perfect is the ultimate form of self-sabotage. We are here to learn to love ourselves, embrace our circumstances, and trust ourselves to show up authentically. And we show up as best as we're able to, and trust that that is enough. So what's the investment? If you wanted to work privately with me for the year, that would be $30,000. And we would do this exact same process. If you wanted to do a 1-hour call with me, that would start at $1,000 for 1 hour, and you wouldn't get access to any of the trainings, programs, community, a year long of support. If you want to join Rich Coach Club, the investment is $2,500 for the full year of access, or you could do 5 payments of $500. So whether you do 5 payments or pay in full, you're getting access to 12 months in Rich Coach Club, where you're getting that community, you're getting all of those trainings, those bonuses, the personalized mentorship, and so much more. So let's get started. And I have some special bonuses, two very special bonuses. So one of those is that we're going to be doing a one-on-one coaching offer workshop. So you're going to have access to a live workshop that we're going to do together as Rich Coach Club members only, where we're going to go over your one-on-one coaching offer, and I'll audit it, I'll review it, we'll talk about it in depth. It's truly going to be a workshop style where you're going to be able to leave that workshop with total clarity on your one-on-one offer. And you only get access to this if you join during this enrollment. If you are here live and you are an existing Rich Coach Club member, you get access to this, don't worry. But anyone who joins during this enrollment will also get access to this workshop. I can't believe I'm doing this as a bonus, you guys. But I'm so excited. I am doing a very, very, very special fast action bonus. If you join within the next 48 hours, you get access to a 30-minute one-on-one strategy call with me to use anytime over the 12 months. And y'all, the amount we can do in 30 minutes, it's a lot. So don't underestimate this, because we will be hyper-focused and get you exactly what you need during that time. It's going to be so powerful, and it'll be in your back pocket to use at any point in the 12 months, whether it's right away, midpoint, near the end, whatever serves you. But again, you only get this if you join within the next 48 hours. You can do payment plan or pay in full to get access to it. So you can go ahead and join if you go to simplifywithmegan.com/club or richcoachclub.com. And we're going to jump into the live Q&A in just a minute. You'll see there's a secure checkout page. You can choose pay in full or the 5 monthly payment plans. And just as a recap, you're going to get everything you need to build a profitable life first coaching business, that exclusive Rich Coach curriculum, 2 times a month hot seat coaching calls, personalized audits and critiques, Rich Coach Club community, rewards and milestones, the scoop, the on-demand training vault, and so much more. And I want to say a big thank you to Holly. Said, I get a ton of value from the 5-minute hot seat with you. So this is amazing. Thanks, Holly. Holly's one of our Rich Coach Club members. Okay, so let's talk. Is this going to work for me? You may be asking that. I obviously can't make a guarantee, but if you show up, you actually do the work, right? And that doesn't mean you do it perfectly, but you show up, you participate in the community, you execute on the game plan, and you commit to the plan. You commit to staying focused. You commit to showing up and getting better and refining and mastering. I feel so confident that this will work for you. One of my clients sent me this. She's a mom of 2 working full time. And she said that, I always feel weird reading these out loud about yourself. I don't know if you guys ever feel that, but it's like, I'm a true example that you can be a mom and an entrepreneur and how to carry out business throughout every season of motherhood. She said, I've worked with other business coaches in the past who never got me like you have. And I share this because you can be at a lot of different stages in life, chronically ill, working full time, a parent, a combination of all of these things, something else, and we can make this work for you. You have to do your part. But I feel so confident that everything we are providing for you, all of the coaching and mentorship, if you show up, if you come to the hot seat calls, if you engage in the community, you're going to get so much out of this and absolutely get way more than 2.5 coaching clients, without a doubt. Will I be supported? Hell yeah, it's me. I love you. I literally care so much about my clients. Rich Coach Club is my focus. I have a handful of private coaching clients in Rich Coach Club, and that is it. This is where my energy is, especially after this launch. The doors are closed and I am in full-blown client mode. So you're absolutely going to be fully supported the entire 12 months. Some of my past clients have said that working with me, I saw a part of their overall business vision that they weren't seeing. And then I have a gift for intuitively knowing exactly what someone needs. That's why I love hot seat coaching calls so much, because we can really dig in. I can lift you up. I can call you out. I can love and shove you and help you move forward and take action. Another one of my clients said that I will call you out on things when needed very kindly. And I help distill all your thoughts into clear action steps. It's the kind of organized, strategic brain I've been wanting in a coach for so long. So how long will this take? Well, I thought I had a visual here. Looking back at that 12-month map we had earlier, the truth is that you could move much faster than this. You could absolutely be at phase 4 pricing much sooner than the end of the year, depending on your client results, your confidence, your expertise, the results you're promising. There's so many nuances to this, right? But I feel like if you are showing up, you're able to do the 15-hour a week schedule. You're able to have the confidence piece. I don't know. It can absolutely take less than a year for some of you. I feel confident that by the end of the year, you're going to be where we mapped out for you. Some of you, it'll take longer if we're struggling with client results, or if we are struggling to increase your prices for other reasons. It might take a little bit longer, but again, we're here to play the long game, right? So we're cool with that. Now, just want to also address, hey, I'm pregnant. So what happens when I go on maternity leave? Well, this baby is due in July. And so for all of May, all of June, I am here all on board. And then for my maternity leave, what's going to happen is that everyone in Rich Coach Club is going to get that time I take off added on to your time at no extra cost. So if I take 2 months off for maternity leave, you're going to get 2 months extra access in Rich Coach Club. And during the 2 months when I'm on maternity leave, you still have access to the community. You have access to all of the trainings. The only thing you won't have access to is the hot seat coaching calls and the feedback for those 2 months, but you're still going to have a ton of other ways to get support. And it's really a win-win because you are going to get that support back at the end. You're just going to get extra time in the community, in the whole program. So again, you can join for $2,500 or 5 payments of $500. If you join during this enrollment window, you get access to that live coaching offer workshop. And if you join within the next 48 hours, you get access to the strategy call with me. Oh, and there's no button below. I meant to edit that. So you can go to simplifywithmegan.com/club to join now. And then let's do the Q&A. So we already have some great questions in here that I'm going to go through first, but go ahead and submit any questions you have that you haven't submitted yet in the Q&A box here in Zoom. And we will tackle as many of these as we can before I have to pick up my daughter for school. And so if it's about Rich Coach Club, definitely put it in there. If it's about the framework or anything we talked about, put it in there. And if you decide to join us live and join Rich Coach Club, definitely let me know in the chat as well. Okay, cool. We have a good selection of Q&A. So I'm going to come in here and answer as many questions as I can. I'm also going to make sure I'm answering questions that are relevant to what we've talked about or will apply to the whole group as best as possible. Let's see. Let me check on the chat too. Christy said, I am in Rich Coach Club currently, and I agree that Meg really takes the time to know us and our businesses so that she can coach us in the way we need at that time. Oh, thanks so much. Okay, let's jump in. I think I can. Okay. Elizabeth asked, do you think Pinterest is a valuable platform for coaches? Why or why not? To me, Pinterest is a great platform to be doing, but I wouldn't consider it a priority at first. So to me, when we are talking about limited time, getting your business off the ground, I really want you to do one, like what I typically would recommend is do a podcast, do Instagram, start building your email list, and let that be enough for now. And then once the ball is rolling, you're getting booked out, maybe you have some available resources. That's when you can add in things like the blog posts and the Pinterest and things like that. I totally think they're valuable, but I don't think they're a necessity at the beginning when you have limited time, unless your strategy is like your long form is blogging, then that might be where we want to do Pinterest. But that would be part of what I want to customize with you based on what I recommend overall. Okay, how do you get in front of dream high ticket clients? Yes, great question. So this is all about the connection piece. So you're going to get in front of them, and I go in depth in this in the trainings that'll be dropping in Rich Coach Club, but you're going to get in front of them from your long form and short form content. So some of that's just going to happen organically, right? People are going to search, people are going to share, it's just going to get fed to them in the algorithm. That's definitely a piece of it. There is another piece that I recommend where you're getting in front of your dream clients. So when you're just starting out, I think it's really helpful to, as we're figuring out who you're helping, how you're helping, where they're hanging out, to also get in front of them. So this is going to be very custom based on your strengths and your zone of genius. Maybe this is getting on other people's podcasts as well, right? Because your people are listening to their podcast. Maybe it is joining a community, right? Or a membership where people already are. But ultimately, my favorite way to get in front of your dream clients is to be of service, to be of value, and to become known as the expert in what you do. That's why having that clear niche makes this so much easier, because you become the person known for that. You're the person who's the Squarespace expert. That's what I used to be. Now I'm the like coaching for busy people, 15 hours a week person. And it's just like people get to know you when you genuinely show up and serve and help and contribute in a conversation. So I go more in depth in that in the trainings, but ultimately it'd be those three things. So your short form content, your long form content, and then intentionally engaging and getting in front of your clients where they already are. Okay. Nicole said, does guesting on other people's podcasts count as my long form content? I have 50 episodes of my own podcast, got burned out from it, and didn't see a lot of downloads or conversions. Yeah, Nicole. So this would definitely be something we could customize for you. To me, this would be part of that third part of like getting in front of people. I still think that the podcasting piece doesn't have to be weekly. Like my whole thing here isn't perfect. I don't podcast perfect every single week. And I still see it's super valuable. But what's interesting is that it's not always accurate based on downloads. My downloads are much lower in this era of my podcast than they were a couple of years ago. But I get so many more clients from it now than I used to. And so I wouldn't really get hung up on like the analytics and the metrics side of things. What you're going to notice is that people are telling you they're binging your content. So you already have 50 episodes. That can be doing a ton of legwork for you. Maybe your focus would be putting those on Pinterest and then getting on other people's podcasts for a bit until you're ready to do another season of your podcast. You could totally do seasonal or just ad hoc podcast episodes when you want. So depending on where you're at in the phases of your pricing as well, if you're booked out or not booked out, that could be something we customize. Patty said, love your philosophy about not needing to be certified. I actually have a certification, but I've been sitting on it for years because I want to focus on another side of things. My question is, do I talk about the certification I have or not? Just mention that I decided telling people what to eat isn't in my soul. I love this question. So I think that here's the thing, on your website, sure, you can mention that you're certified. I think when you're telling your story, part of your work, Patty, is the mindset, the alignment, the energetics. So to me, the fact that you didn't pursue what you're certified in is kind of just part of your story and being in alignment with what you do, right? So to me, it's not something you have to like declare and like say every time you're introducing yourself. But to me, it would make sense for it to be part of your story because it just sounds like it really naturally fits into what you do, helping people be in alignment. And that choice is a story that you could tell in your content or anytime about how you made a choice to stay in alignment versus doing what you should do, right? Like by all accounts, you got certified, you should execute on that, but you've chosen not to for a very intentional reason. So hopefully that makes sense. Stephanie, how to learn what is enough in our packages for our dream client. Definitely something that I like to do. I'd want to have like a hot seat with you about this, Stephanie, and make sure I understand the result we're promising and that we've reverse engineered appropriately. But I will go ahead and give generally, I think one coaching call a month and asynchronous support through like Voxer or Slack or Telegram is enough. Maybe 2 calls a month. But like at a baseline, I very rarely, if ever, maybe never think that weekly or 3 times a month is necessary. Oftentimes that's when we venture into over delivering and actually being stressful for our clients. So I'd want to review your offer and give you more personalized feedback on this, Stephanie. But in general, I think enough is a good starting point is usually 1 or 2 calls a month with asynchronous support and then seeing how that actually lands. Patty said, it's challenging to talk about a specific result since what I do is on the woo-woo side, energetics, vibe, alignment. So I've been trying to find some grounded words to describe the specific result. Do that thing you really want to do, alignment coaching, raise the vibe of your life, etc., or get out of your mindset muck and into your magic. So I definitely think, Patty, this is something we can totally dig into on our next hot seat call at Rich Coach Club 2. So I want you to get more in-depth support than I'm going to do right here. But for anyone else who's listening who is kind of in the same boat where maybe you're on the more like energetics or mindset side of things and you're like, how does this work? We can absolutely still come up with a result for you or a clear person. So we may want to hone in if you really want the result to be more broad. If you remember, I talked about the seesaw of the balanced niche statement. We may want to get really specific on who you're helping with this more broad thing. So that could be an angle we take. Alternatively, we absolutely can take a more vague mindset approach and put actual tangible results to it. I think this is something we should go deeper on. Since you're in Rich Coach Club, we don't have to rush it here. But I hope that gives you some idea that we could either go really specific on the actual like energetic outcome, or we could do who it's for, which might feel easier for you potentially. Okay. Let's see. let me scroll. I'm going to jump around just to make sure I answer some of these that are about Rich Coach Club also. Someone who's here said she is a toddler mom and has baby 2 on the way due in October. Congratulations. If I join Rich Coach Club, could I interrupt and pick it back up again when my brain is back in my head? Okay. So, yeah, I feel like this is a great example of me just doing what's in alignment for me, because I think even on my checkout page, it's like no pauses. But that just doesn't feel good to me. So yeah, if you want to email me, we can nail down something more specific. There will have to be some parameters around it, but I would be happy to pause it for you while you're on maternity leave, and come up with that. So feel free to email me at hello@simplifywithmegan.com if you want to like nail that down more specifically, or we can do that after you join as well. But yeah, I gotta operate what feels good for me, and that's what feels good for me is to do that for you. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm answering some of these. Okay. Elizabeth asked, $1,000 for 3 months. Would that mean 1 hour of one-on-one coaching per week for the client? Elizabeth, no, that'd be 1 call a month. And this is where like we could tweak it. If you had a reason, if your result was this and it needed to have a lot more of your time involved, I would want to price yours differently. But I would say 99% of the time, we can do $1,000 for 3 months where it's a total of 3 calls and asynchronous support. And that is incredibly sufficient. So great example of how we could customize this for you. But I would think, oh, 1 call per week for $1,000. No way. Way too much support for that price. Okay. Elizabeth said, what shared database platform do you use for your clients to access? I'm assuming you mean the feedback. So you'll be able to access it through a website. So like in our community, there's a couple different links to it. In our community, in the course platform, there is just like a URL you can go to where the database is embedded and you can just view it, and it's lovely and beautiful. I think it's actually softer. It's technically the back end of what I use, but you don't need to worry about that. It's like embedded on a website that you would, like a landing page that you would have access to. And then you get an email once I answer your question, sends you the direct link to your support. So you always know when I've answered your thing. But there's a bunch of quick, easy links, and you can bookmark it and go in and see the feedback whenever you want. But yeah, on the back end, it's softer, a mix of softer and Airtable. Okay, Brooke said, on confidence, my zone of genius is working and moving abroad. However, I haven't worked in every industry or every country. How do I gain confidence to coach on this when I haven't done it at all? I would love to dig into this deeper. I don't think we'll be able to go as deep as I want to here, but to me, there's like very much a clear result here that we haven't honed in on for you, Brooke. So even though your zone of genius is the working, moving abroad, it doesn't mean you're like, we would want to nail down the result you're helping your private clients achieve, right? And maybe we would need to get more specific on specific countries or specific industries, depending on more of the result here, right? Like there's so much involved with moving abroad. I don't immediately know like how specific you're getting in your one-on-one coaching. So there is a reality in which you get really specific in certain industries or certain countries. Or it may be that when we do an audit of your offer and your results and your niche statement, that it actually doesn't need to be that. And we can have a result that applies to countries, even if you haven't been to them before. So I know that may not be as helpful. This is a great example of where personalized coaching, hot seats. I know you've submitted an onboarding form. I mean, I know you, but I know more about this offer. And we could go deeper into doing an audit and deep dive on your offer. And that workshop would be really helpful for you too. But when it comes to the confidence side of things, I think a part of it is just having a very clear understanding of, I help so-and-so do so-and-so, and getting more specific than what you've done here is a big step 1. And then step 2 is honestly working with the clients and seeing it. Honestly, like we've got to start getting some clients results for you to actually feel confidence. This is absolutely going to be a thing where you're going to take action before you're fully confident too. Okay. Lindsay said, the online business world continues to evolve and consumers are more discerning these days. Can you speak to the appetite for high ticket coaching in today's environment? Absolutely, I can. And I love the way you asked this. So it's really interesting. I actually have found that high ticket coaching is still incredibly desirable when we have a clear result statement, when you start getting actual results for your clients. And when you can do every piece of the framework we talked about, this becomes way easier for you. People are still wanting support. And now more than ever, people really want personalized support because, like you said, consumers are getting more discerning. They've bought $12 courses. They bought stuff from people's stand stores, right? Like they've had PDFs sit. So I actually think people are seeing the value in coaching and in personalized support more than ever before. But we got to make sure we're being smart about how we're pricing our packages in context with the result we provide and the results we've given our clients, right? So the more that we have a clear I help statement and people understand how we help them, that helps. We can do the connection piece and they can know, like, and trust us. We can help them for free. Great. Then when we're actually getting into coaching with them too, we're going to be getting results from our other clients. That's going to make the sales process easier. So again, this really leans back into the overall framework and strategy that I feel like when you're doing all of those pieces, you're not going to run into any issues with getting high ticket clients. I think we run into issues with it when we're too vague, when we can't communicate how we help people, when our offers don't explain it, when we don't have client testimonials, when we're priced too high with no client testimonials. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Christy said, my biggest area of red is the scheduled aspect. I feel like I'm needing to prune back my business and need help restructuring. Well, Christy, you're in Rich Coach Club, so let's talk about it there. Feel free to submit your a schedule of how you're spending your time right now, and I can give you feedback on it. But I think in general, for people who are watching the replay or who are here live, if you're in a similar boat where you feel like you need to prune back your business, that's what we do here. So as the Rich Coach Club curriculum is being released over the next 2 months in particular, we will do that restructuring. We will simplify your offers. I think, Christy, for you, just what I know from your business, from our work together, I think getting that, you've got the captivated I help statement now. Now we just need to nail down your packaging and get into the marketing piece. And I think that new 15-hour schedule and understanding where to focus your time will really, really help. But yeah, feel free to submit something for feedback in Rich Coach Club and we can go deeper. 70. Love the idea of a 15-hour schedule, except wondering what happens when I have good intentions and things take longer than planned. This happens with content creation and the learning curve. Any tips? Yeah, this is totally normal. And I think this is one of those things that's going to take practice and getting better over time, right? So I think, yeah, when you first implement this schedule, you might realize this is taking me a lot longer, but we're not stressed about being perfect. We're not stressed about having a perfect piece of content ready every single Thursday at 5 a.m. or we're a failure, right? So I think part of this is the mindset shift we've discussed already. I think the other piece of this is the practice and the awareness. So when this is happening, if you were in Rich Coach Club, we will be able to talk about it. Where are we slowing down? How can we simplify? Maybe you're doing too many things, or maybe there's a way to change your process. This is a big thing for me. I had to change my content creation process in order to have it take up less time. I had to lower my expectations. I had to say, I'm not going to edit, which means I have to do a couple other things differently. I have to choose that I'm not going to worry about Pinterest right now. I'd like to do it, but this ain't the time. I'm not going to worry about it, right? So there are going to be some choices we make as well to make this happen. And so when we realize it's taking longer than planned, we will come together and figure out why and what changes to make. And of course, I'll do more education on this in the curriculum as well. Okay, Larissa said, what's holding me back is imposter syndrome and not being sure how to structure the actual coaching calls. Because the client just come with questions and I would talk through these items with them. I feel like I could help people in a lot of areas, but not sure how to describe the process or the results. Larissa, I would love to go deeper on this with you. In general, there's a couple things here. First of all, we would need to get clear on the result you help people with, right? So that's going to be the anchoring thing that informs a ton of this, because there are going to be some coaches out there where your coaching process is more structured. And there is call 1, we do this. Call 2, we do this. And call 3, we do this. That it can be so valuable. Then there are going to be other types of coaching where, yeah, the client just comes to you. My type of business coaching with my highest level clients is pretty open like that. But I know what they're working on. We've been in communications throughout the month in between our calls. So we usually are already kind of in dialogue on something and usually come into the call. The client has already told me before, hey, I really want to look at my funnel when we're on our call. Great. Or, hey, I want to figure out this thing. Great. So yes, I think in some coaching circumstances, yeah, we're going to let the client dictate it, but you're also going to be a good enough coach that when the client's like, I have nothing, you're like, there's something here. Like, we can figure it out. So some of that's going to be from coaching skills, but ultimately figuring out your process would be part of what we do together. So getting clarity on who you're helping, how you're helping them, and then understanding how your coaching package needs to be reverse engineered to achieve that goal will be unique to what you do and how you help people. And then the imposter syndrome, all that is, you mentioned it's like structuring the actual calls. Like I said, some of that we would address. The other piece of this is going to be one of those confidence comes from action. You got to get that first client. I'm not sitting here saying you're going to work with your first client and be like, I'm the best coach ever. You're starting. It's so normal to have butterflies or to be a little nervous or to get a little anxious before. But I truly believe that you are here for a reason. Like, you want to support people for a reason. You want to be a coach for a reason. And maybe there's some area of room for improvement to get a better coach. I'm certainly a million times better coach now than I was in 2017, but I still got people value in 2017. So when we come back to the confidence piece of our framework, it's knowing that what you can do now is enough. How much you're able to help people right now is enough. And it's that simple. Your best is enough. And then your best is just going to keep getting better. And your rates will increase and reflect that. So hopefully this helps. I know it's a little bit higher level. We could definitely go deeper on this in Rich Coach Club, but hopefully this gives you some nuggets to think about. Okay, this is our last question we've had submitted live. So if anyone has any other Rich Coach Club questions particularly, definitely drop those in the Q&A too. Chrissy says, can you speak to the temptation we have to go from group coaching to group coaching too soon? Struggling with this because mathematically it feels like I could go to groups and I love groups and make more for less time, but I think it would be skipping an important step in my business by not having a refined one-on-one offer. Yeah, Christy, I don't know if you've listened to my podcast episode I have about this, where it's all about one-on-one coaching versus group coaching. But in general, my overall philosophy is that there's a million different ways to do business. So if you wanted to customize this and jump into group coaching sooner than I recommend, I would happily support you in doing that, right? We could talk through how to make that work for you. In general, I would recommend waiting, because the group stuff is so much easier when the one-on-one stuff is nailed down, when you understand your result, especially where you're at, Christy, where you're still in that discovery phase of refining how you help people get results. It seems too soon to go to a full group scenario with ease and with confidence. Whereas if you really mastered one-on-one, getting booked out, mastering your process, getting testimonials, understanding where people are struggling, by the time you go to group, it's easy breezy. You're gonna have no problem selling it, because you're gonna deeply understand everything involved, who it's for, what they're struggling with, and how you help them. And creating the program is going to be easier. So is it possible to do group coaching sooner? Absolutely. But does it serve you as well as it could if you waited? I don't think so. Especially where you're at, you've got limited time. You're going to be so much more powerful if you focus on one thing now, mastering this, before you start to distract yourself with multiple offers. Okay. Awesome. Okay, how do you limit asynchronous coaching in terms of time? 3 months of coaching equals 3 coaching calls plus asynchronous time with you. Yeah, so I just always have it matched up. I usually recommend, I know in the masterclass today I said like 3 months of coaching. I actually like to say 12 weeks, because I think it's just like really crystal clear. Here's our start date, you get 12 weeks. And so for the entire 12 weeks, they would get asynchronous support with you. And those boundaries are something we would establish. That could be 2 days a week. You do asynchronous, Tuesdays and Thursdays, whatever days. It could be Monday through Friday. For me, it's like Monday through Thursday, I'm going to check once a day. That's my boundary. I may check 5 times one day, but it's the boundary. It's not the expectation. You know what I mean? So that level of asynchronous support can totally vary based on your availability and your 15-hour a week schedule. If you don't have a coaching block 5 days a week, we're going to make sure we're not communicating that you're coaching 5 days a week. We're going to say you're coaching Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whenever those coaching blocks are. But yeah, you have asynchronous coaching the whole time. So I typically have like a start date and an end date. They get asynchronous the whole time, and then they can book those calls whenever. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, let me know. Okay, just a reminder The doors are open for Rich Coach Club. They're only open until May 2nd, and then they're going to be closed until probably September at the earliest. And that's like for real. No one's going to join between now and then. And so I really would love to work with you. Anyone who's here live, anyone who's watching the masterclass replay, I would love to support you in building a life first coaching business. If you join, you get 12 months of access to everything you need to build a profitable life first coaching business, which includes the brand new Rich Coach curriculum, hot seat coaching calls twice a month, personalized audits and critiques, Rich Coach Club community, rewards and milestones, the Scoop private podcast, and the on-demand training vault. And you got to meet some of our wonderful Rich Coach Club members here live as well. You can join us now by going to richcoachclub.com or simplifywithmegan.com/club. And you would get instant access to everything except the new curriculum that we're going to be releasing over the next 2 months. And our next hot seat call is May 8th. So next Wednesday, we could be on a hot seat call together. And until then, you could immediately start submitting things for review. You could go through the on-demand training vault. You could jump in the community and ask questions. You could watch a call replay, listen to stuff on the podcast, support immediately, and then get excited for a hot seat call on May 8th. Okay, great. I don't see any other live questions. If you have any questions about Rich Coach Club, definitely send me an email at hello@simplifywithmegan.com or send me a DM on Instagram if you want. It's a great place for us to chat. Make sure it feels like a good fit for you. I want to thank everyone so much who came live, who hung out in the chat, everyone who, was cool with the tech issues at the beginning. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And just know I am here cheering you on along the way. And whether you join Rich Coach Club now or maybe in September, I would love to work with you and support you. So go ahead and go to simplifywithmegan.com/club. And if you join within the next 48 hours, you do get that 30-minute one-on-one call with me, which I never offer. So I'm so excited to be doing that as a special reward for those of you who take action quickly. And I hope to see you in Rich Coach Club. Thanks, y'all. I will see you guys in Rich Coach Club. Bye.